to get into the work that we have been doing. Some have left greener pastures and, doing this work because they are inspired to help farmers on one hand and to give good food to consumers on the other hand.
Yes, Satyajit. Yeah. So the initial thought process was to quit the job and create some platform for the collective, primarily that is the marketing. So the marketing, we should do marketing. Then only the farmer will listen to us. If you want to transform into the natural or organic farming. So I thought let's create a market platform. Then that will pull us to getting into the farming, more people into the transfer into the organic natural farming. So with that idea, first what we did is we started a local market first. We started selling at farm, whatever the fresh produce we grown, few vegetable varieties and fruits like papaya, banana. And then I started getting, when I was working at the time, I started getting that to our colleagues in office in Bangalore, Manyata Tech Park, sharing with them. And then they have said the taste is very good compared to the available produce in the supermarkets. And why don't you bring for us on regular basis? But I didn't try. Initially, we started a organic shop in Anantapur. There is a farmers market which is close to us. Every district headquarter has that. So we thought let's do locally sell sometime. We tried our level best there, but the people acceptance was very low to purchase the produce because the produce which we grow initially, it require a lot of resources and then the human effort that require little cost. We should keep higher price than the market to sell in the market. And then again convincing the customer, there are many challenges. Because of that, we need to price bit high than the compared to the markets. That is not encouraged much in the Anantapur. Then we thought, let's get into the city consumer market. So we started getting the fresh produce which are grown from our farm and around our farmers. Initially, I thought if I want to get into the Bangalore, I need to work on the logistics part. Anantapur for me near whatever small quantity I was going and selling. But if I want to bring to Bangalore 250 kilometers and supply to that, I need a kind of produce which I can work. Then I thought I can't grow myself altogether. I thought let's do collective. And then I started going around farmers, educating them, mentoring them, supporting whatever we can do, like seeds, native seeds, and then the giving some cows, donating through the friend support. We donated cows to the few farmers and then started mentoring them and started getting produce around them, started coming to the city, Bangalore, and talking to the colleagues and the communities. We started selling the few varieties, keeping the stalls in the communities and selling directly to the customers. And then we can grow limited varieties. It's not like Bangalore consumer can, whatever they want, exotic and the seasonal, all these things. So first challenge was that they want the number of varieties and then the fresh, they want look better and then color, shape, because most of the consumer market now driven that the fruit looks like this, like the apple, like pomegranate should be 200 grams above, apple should look like that, guava look like that. They train their minds that like that. So the acceptance of the whatever naturally, organically grow, it won't looks like that actually. And then, but if you open and cut it and see, the fruit is really good and it's nutritious. That is first difficulty we had to get into the few customers convince and buy it, but most of them are started rejecting the produce. That was the big challenge, and the varieties, available varieties for them. So they are trying that they should take. So when we were kids, there are very limited portion of the meal having 2-3 vegetables or few greens or pulses. That is taking care of our nutrition. But when come to here, they want multiple varieties actually. Because of it's they have that education, they want everything. That also we had a challenge to give them the varieties of the produce. Still we tried sourcing and trying around farmers Bangalore. But to scale it up, it's again challenge for us to varieties. And then the delivery system, as everybody is working in the city, they want proper delivery system, and then the fresh, it looks like fresh. Always our eyes says if it looks fresh, that is the vegetable, that is the green for us. Otherwise, it's not good actually. Because of that, we tried to build all that connects and made a very good connect. To scale it that up, it's not possible with us. We realized to it requires a lot of more efforts, and then we slow down on the perishable front, and it's not getting sustainable for us. And if you see the markets, some markets which are selling organic food produce, because of the customer intentions, customer trend, they started giving as per the customer's demand. That also losing lot of trust with the organic food produce. We thought not get into that. If we have the genuine produce, let's give us. Otherwise, don't get into that. And then we slow down. And now we understood well like what is the real challenge. So here, there is an opportunity here. It's not only challenge. We can overcome this, but we need to form a cluster of farmers, and there should be a like-minded team actually. It like, for me, I'm alone journey. Most of the time, I was handling everything, like from the farmer to the consumer connect. But if there is a like-minded people like us join together and put up a team, and then there should be a team for production who understand the consumer behavior, and then who understand the farmer challenges, life cycles, who can educate back to the customer. People like us join as a collective way, whatever the platform, and then the work as per the customer demand, and as well as we need to educate the farmer back, like what are the customer trends are going, what we can grow for the farmer customers. Such kind of initiatives we can pull up. There is a good opportunity, I feel, in the perishable sector, and along with that, there are many collective schemes which can be taken it forward, and then we can do lot of value addition. I mean, when you grow organically, there will be kind of you get a different kind of produce. It will be, some are shape are good, some are the different odd shapes. And as Narasimha sir is telling, lot of value addition. The nutrition levels will be same, but we can do the value addition. The good food, like we can sell in the wherever the target market is there, like which looks better. And the second, which graded in second grade, we can do the value addition at rural level and send like wherever it's a branded way. Like that, we can achieve we have the solution for it, but we need the kind of the team for working forward. I think this forum will give us like resources, team to use the expertise, people like us to bring up the next level of platform. We'll look forward for that actually.
Just
Thank
like,
you.
What Partha told, that it's difficult for perishables because the shelf life is just 1 or 2 days. It degrades faster. So that's how even Narasimha Garu were telling. So dehydration is one of the process where you can extend the shelf life to a lot more months, like 6 months to 1 year when stored well. And the nutrition might be decreasing by 20% or so, but the shelf life is there. There's no food wastage. And food wastage is being one of the major concerns in the industry, and that has to be solved. So this is one of the pain point what needs to be addressed, and it is one of the main segment which we have to work in the next year, which we have decided collectively, the food preservation. And the second being the value addition for food, making it more nutritious. So how Prasad Garu is working on the nutrition part to enrich the food using different fortification. And the third being sustainable food production, which is using sustainable ways of electrical generation and other things. So I request Narasimha Garu to tell about the food dehydration and what the pain points and how we can implement it, so that we work with certain farmers this year and show a positive impact, so that it's just not a lecture giving conference, and we have to implement it, and we'll prove that this is a model which will really work, and we will show that in the next year that this is the progress what we have done, so that it'll be productive.
Yes, thank you, Achyut. So there is this entire topic of food preservation. India is, unfortunately, we are behind rest of the world in processing this perishable, nutritious, perishable food that's being produced. So so as a roundtable and as entrepreneurs, investors, the whole country, central government has this food processing. There is a minister for food processing. I'm, in some plans to meet. There's some discussions got initiated. But talking about this entire food preservation, there are multiple ways. and we have to explore everything and apply everything where it applies. So among the multiple ways, there is one that is kind of maybe adding preservatives and canning. And that is not, I mean, preservatives also, there are natural preservatives like citric acid and then canning. But canning is not a value addition. That's the West don't know, so they were canning and bottling vegetables. If you open a can, it's literally, there's no value in it. So the next things we can apply the other ideas, kind of like fermenting vegetables is actually a very effective way to increase the nutrition. So wherever these applies, we have to apply these different techniques. There's either for bottling and fermenting in certain ways, or dehydration. In dehydration also there are multiple ways. There's vacuum dehydration, general heat dehydration in a closed chamber. But one of the ways that is very low cost, because we have sunshine. We have sunshine apart from the rainy season. India, all over India, there's sunshine throughout the year. And so solar dehydration is a very effective way to dehydrate the foods, and then they retain their nutrition. So when we talk about nutrition, and they have a shelf life. Once dehydrated, it doesn't have to be, it's not expensive to keep it as compared to keeping it frozen. And freezing is again a Western template, refrigeration and freezing, because they didn't know any better. They started that way. Then we thought cold storage plants, maybe to some extent, maybe cold storage plants also will have an application, and that is good. But on a large scale, talking about solar dehydration, I like to say there's all of us know fruit and vegetables, they have vitamins, everybody knows that. Minerals also, everybody knows that. Then fiber also, everybody knows that. Then the carbohydrates and whatever, the food value, the sugars and the complex sugars and everything like that, the nutrition, food value, that we all know. But one key component of fruit and vegetable is live enzymes. That is the pranic energy in these fruit and vegetables. And this is preserved very well in studies that we have known so far, we have seen so far. 85% of the live enzymes are preserved in solar drying for years together. And the live enzymes is what gives the fruit and vegetable their flavor, and that's what adds to our immunity, it supports our immunity. It's very critical, it's the pranic energy. So apart from vitamins, this particular quality of the fruit and vegetable, it is spoiled when you just freeze it or cold store it. It goes down to like 30% from what I've seen. And even if it is not dehydrated, even if you harvest a fruit and vegetable and leave it alone at room temperature for 3-4 weeks, the enzymes come down, they expire. It's kind of like there is a pranic energy, and it kind of expires. It's equal to expiring. Then the life in it comes down. Even the vitamins perish, and it comes down to like in 3-4 weeks, there are studies for most fruits and vegetables, it comes down to like 20% after 4 weeks. After 2 weeks, it's like 50-40%. So if we adopt any of these dehydration techniques, and solar dehydration is a lower cost also, we have the sunshine is free. And it's also, they also get vitamin D enhanced and flavor, and some kind of flavor enhancing when they're solar dehydrated. So if we adopt these, actually Parthasarathigari also, where the organic produce that you had, solar dehydration, we can discuss this further. It will be an excellent way to, because the flavor and everything, the nutrition will get locked. And after that, I think across India also, if we start producing the solar dehydrated vegetables and fruits, the consumption will increase. And practically in US, I am seeing in grocery stores over the last 10 years, all of us know just raisins. It is dried grapes, and we know dates. But over the years, I've been observing, they've been selling, and there's different types of dehydration, including freeze drying, and after freeze drying, they're vacuum sealed. And there's vacuum drying, freeze drying, vacuum drying, solar drying. There's some of the techniques. But in stores in US, I'm seeing more and more fruit. Every 6 months or a year, I will see more fruit that are dehydrated. I'm not sure which. I think for the commercially vacuum, dehydration is probably being used a lot, especially in the West. But in any case, dehydrated fruit is becoming more and more common. So after having being used to raisins and dates, 10 years ago, what I started seeing apples first dehydrated, then pears and peaches dehydrated, and then over time now, last year I've seen strawberry and blueberry. Over 2 years ago, I've seen them dehydrated. So dehydration is a good technique, and the other angle, the world's requirement for food and nutrition is increasing. When it increases, so the logistical challenge of carrying a fresh fruit, and like Parthasadi garu overcame all these challenges trying to put the fresh fruit in front of the customer in some community, transport it. The logistics of the transportation, it is a perishable commodity. All of those the challenges keep increasing. So I think we should promote these dehydration techniques, and as they are promoted, and all kinds of processing, of course, all kinds of processing to preserve. If it is fruit, fruit can be pulped very well, and pulp can be canned. Fruit canning, it's very, very common. After it's canned, it's shipped all around the world and used in juices. And all of this processing is required because of one, perishable, and two, seasonal. Everything is seasonal. So mango is everybody's, for most people, it's a favorite fruit, but it's it's harvested, or it fruits, or it comes out for about 2 months, maybe max 3 month period. And in that 3 month period, and it's seasonal, but throughout the year, if you want to enjoy mango, it has to be processed and preserved in some way. And among the solar drying, we're doing all of the vegetables, and leafy vegetables especially, the nutrition value is best preserved in drying. And another small snippet I will share, over the last year we tried sun drying sapota and sitafal. It's amazing actually. And even pineapple, sun-dried pineapple, all of these are we have the solar dryers put on a tray. So it's just that all of us actually, like we said, we come into this with passion. So we need more time and resources to actually expose this more. But really sun-dried pineapple and sun-dried sitafal, because it's such a soft fruit, it almost like a pulp. We put like a pulp on a tray. The flavor is just amazing. And sitafal is especially, I remember sitafal when I talked about the short time within the year that the fruit comes out. Sitafal is one of those short periods, maybe 6 weeks, hardly 2 months you get the sitafal fruit. There are a few hybrid varieties fruiting for longer, but hybrid has a different issue. When we start creating genetically modified or hybrid, they disturb nature, and at the very sensitive level, they disturb nature in a different way. So if we just take the actual organic sitafal, the fruit is available only for around 6 weeks, max 8 weeks. But if we can process it in some way, then it can be available throughout the year. And all of this, the focus again is all of this will, on the one hand, increase rural employment and rural incomes, and on the other hand, it increases nutrition around the world.
It's a great thing, sir, what you spoke. And similarly is the jackfruit. It's so much abundant. Once the season comes, there is so much abundance of jackfruit, and that is a nutrition, loaded with nutrition. And something similar to that, sun is a God's gift for humanity. Without sun, we cannot exist. And it's a free of cost. We just have to and there is innovative solar dryers which have Indian made, and which is completely out of stainless steel, which has no contamination. It's even the free air contamination is also less. And I would like to know more about what Annapurna Trust is doing with food fortification, because that is one of the main reasons, because malnutrition has to be addressed, and they're doing an absolute phenomenal work. 30 lakh people without any free of cost to the right segment. I would like to know more about how you're working with farmers and how you processing the grains to fortify it.
Sure. Thank you. Our Bhogavalli Garu, Honorable Chair, has mentioned about turmeric and spirulina, some of these superfoods and all that. And I think taking that further, I would like to submit that for the millets is a new superfood, obviously. It's not a new one. It's actually as old as many, many years back. It was traditionally seen as a poor man's food, right? But it has never been a poor man. It's actually a very, very wonderful food. Of course, the rice and polished rice came in just a few decades ago. But the genesis for this is the fact that India is the home to the largest number of children in the world, right? But we are also the home to the largest amount of malnutrition, just by that, 1/5 of the world's population, right? So that's where we looked at. One of the observations that we found was that the children were coming to the school on an empty stomach, on a hungry stomach. And that was something that we observed, because while the assembly hall was going on, the children would just drop off and then fall down and so on. And we realized what was happening. And they were coming on an empty stomach. And there has got to be something to be done. Initially, we thought we'll do some regular breakfast-based foods, which we did. But then we realized that what was really the problem, underlying problem, was the undernutrition, the malnutrition. And that was something that we needed to actually change. And we're trying to look for some kind of an intervention where the kind of requirement in terms of execution is very easy, and it is a decentralized model. So we came across this, we tried different things, and then we actually started, we tried this kind of thing called ragi. It's a fortified ragi. What this contains, it has a ragi, but defatted soya, rice flour, salt, cinnamon, turmeric, vitamins and minerals, right? So we realized that when we started doing this, the children also like this. This is actually given to schools along with jaggery. When that happens, the children adoption has been great, and then and it has the right kind of the sodium, potassium, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, iron, the entire nutrients that are getting into the body of the children. Now, if you were to do this as a vitamin tablet, it's a metallic tasting, the children would never have it. So, but when we started doing this, the children's adoption, or at least the taking in, has increased. So recently, the government of Telangana, they came up with an offer. We were doing for about 4.5 lakh children, and then they said, why don't you do for the entire 22 to 25 lakh children, and let's share, 50-50 the cost and so on. So it was an offer that we could not refuse. So with that, we are today, as of July, we are doing for the entire state of Telangana. And so that is how we are doing. In Karnataka, we have something called a malt-based, because Karnataka is giving milk through the Ksheerabhagya scheme. And to that, we are doing a malt-based, it's like a Bonvita kind of a thing, but from a rural standpoint. So here also, it's a multi-nutrient mixed food. So it's a malt-based kind of a thing. So with this, we are able to achieve in a very, very simple manner, where you don't have to have a very complex kitchen infrastructure. You can actually give this as dry ingredients to the doorstep of the children at the schools, and then we incentivize the cooks of the government school children, or at least the government schools, and then they get up, the cooks come in a little bit early, and then they prepare fresh and hot, and the entire children have it, and of course the staff have it and all that, and then they begin to start having the food. Now what we have realized is, ever since this food has started coming in, not only is the focus on the children, on the studies has increased, the health profile naturally has increased, and sir, even the teachers are a lot more motivated to teach the children, and the children are a lot more coming on time. Teacher, we are already here. Of course we know why. And then enrollments are increasing, sir. So which means, in this way, we are actually arresting dropouts, which is the biggest problem in the government schools today. So a small food-related intervention is helping us deliver healthy and productive citizens for the next generation. That's really what Annapurna has all been doing about. Thank you.
Great, sir. And really, it's amazing that you have dedicated your life to this project and this cause. And it's amazing what Annapurna Trust is doing. And I would like to suggest even sprouted ragi.
Yes.
So sprouted ragi is one of the things which is, it's even more nourishing, and it even, it's adding value to your product as well. Hoping to see that product as well coming
Let's
up in the
discuss
market.
more.
Yes.
So we are very flexible about, we're trying to do it through local pellet. So we tried sattu, we tried different in North India, Northeast, tribal areas and so on. And wherever there's a nutrition as well as a flavor with the children will adopt, definitely we will try to explore.
Yes.
It's the
And
possibilities are endless.
Yes. So the next thing is the pain point is working with the farmers and enriching the farmers, teaching them the right techniques. They were already known, like, it's been traditionally handed over generations. Now that the coming generations are having not interest because of a lot of factors. Farming is no more a well-known thing. They want all shifting to IT jobs. Unlike people from IT jobs are coming to the farming and other like Partha and Satyajit.
We are sourcing from the farmers directly.
Yes,
with the
yes,
basic
absolutely. So I would like Satyajit, to tell us about how he's working with the farmers at the grassroots level. And I know it's not like unlike US or UK or Australia, hundreds and thousands of hectares, each farmer or land holding thing. It's 1 acre, 2 acres, 10 acres, maximum 50 acres. How they are working and how they are implementing technology and sourcing, teaching them the right techniques. And even Ram Kumar Garu is doing great initiative with the tribals, working with the tribals to do the coffee variants. So I would like to Satyajit to speak about it, and then Ram Kumar.
So, when we started our experiments on our own farm and it was successful to an extent, many farmers showed interest in working alongside us or in getting that solution. When we started working with farmers, we understood that as a brand or as a marketing company, you can't just sit in a city, develop a brand and only source from farmers. One is that the traceability is not there. Second, you are not helping the farmer holistically. The farmer needs a holistic solution. He doesn't need only a buyer. So for that, since we had done farming ourselves, we had some solutions in that aspect, and we were selling in our own brand's name, we had solutions in that aspect. We put up a team whom we call the farmer relationship managers and an app around it, and started hand-holding the farmers from the seed stage. It's not a superficial sourcing arrangement that we have with them, but we work with them from the seed stage. Everything is documented till the harvest stage. It's not for traceability and not for auditing or not for policing purposes. The main idea is to handhold them and give them solutions at every stage. See, every farmer wants to make his soil healthier, wants to do sustainable farming, but he doesn't know how to do it. Conventional agricultural literature, education, practices are all around chemical farming and monocultures. When you want the farmer to convert to a mixed food forest kind of a farming that increases his soil fertility, you need to educate him from seed stage on how to do it. And that's what this team does. They are a team of BSc, MSc agricultural graduates who are re-educated in natural farming and organic farming. And they handhold the farmer, give him solutions at every step. And then as a brand, we give them a market which is higher than the conventional market. So if I have figured out in a small way that if you give a holistic solution, then it is sustainable and the farmer keeps to the journey, and you can work with him for a longer period of time.
So added to what Satyajit said, a little different paradigm in tribal segment, because the first took us almost 2 years for us to really establish that connect. But the beauty after that is once they start trusting them and trusting us, it's a mutual relationship. When you go back to them and tell them, do you know something, your coffee has such a great value and this has such a huge nutritional value, people don't understand. But at the same point of time, you tell them, hey, look, you're producing certainly about 100 kgs per annum. I'll help you out in getting to 150 kgs with a better price with zero investment. There is some catch behind the farmer. Because farmer does not understand what is nutrition, farmer doesn't understand what's happening behind the screen. And once he understands, okay, if I want to get a better price and a better yield, what is that I need to do next? Is when we have to start inducing in them, stating that every 3 months you'll have to ensure the foundation is clean, you ensure the watering is done on time, or you ensure that your organic fruit is going right. They cannot take more than 5 to 6 inputs, right? And that patience, trust building will certainly yield us a little more brand value. And along with it, everybody talks about, native Araku coffee has a bigger brand. But what goes behind the screen is the effort which a farmer is putting in, right? Yeah, we will have transitional challenges like too many middlemen into the ecosystem. We have to fight with them. We have to tell them, today the farmer have to get his share, only then a middleman is there. If the farmer thinks, I don't want to do farming, then what happens, right? It's a convincing factor which we have to sell it at every stage. Again, the middleman is again a tribal farmer. He comes from the same gene again, right? So that's one which certainly helped us out. And also like-minded people, when I say at the end user side too. When I say an end user side, today I have partnered with two brothers. I have partnered with multiple airport organizations and our presence is there. Why did they get convinced to sell our coffee when there is such a huge competitive market? Is because we're adding value there. And when I go back to the farmers and tell them, do you know something? The coffee which you have cultivated is sitting down in the airport today and customers are enjoying your coffee. Then the win-win factor between him and me is, now you tell me what do you want. Customer will not, the farmer will not have any ask. Are you sure my coffee is sold? Yes, yes, it is your farm. That's the only winning factor which made native Araku coffee successful. And we are doing a lot of background work in terms of branding tribal farmers directly. If you see all our branding, it's a farmer whom we work with. It is no artificial farming photography taken. So that's one another winning factor which helped us out to really get the market share. And then, the couple of things which certainly this team can contribute to, which is towards the food and supply chain management. As you know, after COVID, logistics have become very, very expensive for us to really get it done. Now customer has his own ask where everything has to come to his doorstep. But farmer still is not getting his share because the logistics has been very, very high. So how do we really work on it? I know there are experts who found some solution on it. I would like to hand over this mic to Shekhar, who can really help me out on that connect.
Relating to my own story, my mom told me that I used to go to school at the age of 2 just because they were giving me milk and cookies. That's how my life learning started, and food was something that always motivated me. And she told me that anything given to me as food, I would do anything for it. So after spending 76, after traveling to 76 countries, spending 2 decades or so as a managing director for Accenture, food was a passion that brought me back. And I said, as part of this inspiration of leaving greener pastures and coming back here, was to take food and spread happiness along with it. So when I talk about food tech, right, I see that into 5 segments that we have talked earlier. One is the production, the second part is storage, third part is consumption, the fourth aspect is the wastage. So a few facts I would like to share with the panel as well as the startups who might be interested in solving problems across the spectrum. So we know that the population of India is around 1.5 billion and we are growing, and each one, not just in India, but across, food is one aspect of it. So I would like to cite a quick Sanskrit phrase here. So we have called Anna is Parabrahma. It is a life which has always been sustaining us or many of us across all the animals around it. And one other thing to supplement that would be if you eat food as a medicine, you'll live longer. Otherwise, you'll have to eat medicine as food. Right? So we have to look at the entire supply chain and the spectrum of food, because that is very much needed for us even if you go to Mars or any other place. Right? If humans are going to Mars or Moon, you need food to be part of it, otherwise you're not going to survive. That's our DNA. So here, in terms of consumption and distribution, there's a huge space where we see around more than 30% of the food that gets produced get wasted through the process of distribution, even through the consumption. There's an opportunity for many startups to come into, like you said, the storage aspect of it, or preserving it in some form, or even distributing it more sustainably. It's key, so that way we are able to conserve. And each kg of food that is produced, it uses around 25 liters of water, and there's so much that goes around making it happen, including the transport. and containing the wastage could be one aspect of it. And then one of the statistics that I've learned recently, on an average in India itself, not among any other place in the world, we waste around 50 kgs per person per population. So that's quite a lot of food that can go to some needy people and so on. And there are opportunities to see if there is a fair and sustainable distribution that can be looked at along with the production and supply. And I was very inspired because one of the problem Achyut called out was the brain drain and migration from rural areas to urban areas, mainly because of IT. Unfortunately, I was the MC for Agritech yesterday. A lot of inspirational talk and motivational stories I've heard. And agripreneurs is a way to go, to create agriculture as a business, empower them in the means and ways of, they were talking about reverse credit swaps so that the farmers have assured income before they bring crop. Otherwise, they are taking the biggest risk in producing crop, and they're losing at the end of it. They're not gaining as part of the whole supply chain and intermediaries, right? And one of the farmer, I was deeply motivated in the conversation yesterday. His name is Ananda. He's from Karnataka. His whole conversation was about how do we stop that reverse brain drain aspect of it? How do we take the knowledge that has been acquired over centuries and decades and put it in the form of AI or something that can be taken to people as well as the machines if they are coming to work in the production of food. And then the subtle message that came across was, food is something that we live and breathe, and that's the very purpose of it. And the farmer, especially the food producer, the very emotion that he sustains and survives is being in tune with nature, right? So from a technology perspective, and we as a startup, we have a huge spectrum of opportunities to look into various problems: production, storage, consumption, distribution. How do we contain wastage? I mean, last thing I'll conclude before I hand it back to Rashmi is that I was a judge in one of the jury where kids aged like 10 to 15 were pitching. And one of the girls came up with an idea of incinerator, which would take waste foods in commercial places like restaurants and all, and will convert that into a fertilizer. I mean, a great idea that are coming up with younger talent than other than us, and we should probably create a forum that can support such talents into rapid experimentation and deployment in the real world.
Like all good things must come to an end. We are coming to the end of our roundtable discussion here. And in conclusion, I'd like to say it was an honor to be on stage with the rest of the distinguished panels of our roundtable. And all of us together, this roundtable will take it as a serious mission to do everything we can. We have a very broad range set of skills that we bring together in this roundtable, and I think we will make it our mission to do everything we can to promote more food production, preservation, distribution, and more opportunities for all in the rural sector for all across India. And everybody that has been here today and whoever listens to this discussion later, we encourage any kind of suggestions and further questions to be sent to our roundtable. We will take up on all suggestions and try to come up with the best actions possible. So thanking everyone here and thanking all the audience, we'd like to end this.